Hello and welcome back to the final DVD in this series, and we're calling this Reality, with my special guest, Pastor Lindsey-Williams. Lindsey, welcome back to the program.
Stan, thank you for allowing me to use your studio. One of the first things I learned about the elite when I lived with them for 3 years and was their chaplain was listen to their buzzwords. Yeah, they tell us everything they're going to do. It's just that the average person needs to know how to listen to what they're saying. Now, I'd like to use a few buzzwords right now that I was told just a few days ago. You know, I talked with one of them only a few days ago, and as a result have produced these 3 DVDs attempting to tell everyone I possibly can, while I can, everything that the elite have planned for the next 2 years. And in the course of this conversation with this gentleman, he used what I call buzzwords, as I learned years ago to listen to them. Now, as I give these buzzwords, I'd like you to think in your mind, what is the first thing that you think? Because they have a general meaning. They all point to a certain specific point. Here we go. War brought the country out of the Depression.
I think most people think there that, I got a job, I didn't have a job, and because the war industry was gearing up for the war, it gave me a job and it helped us to pull out of the depression we were in.
Turmoil in the Middle East 2 years from now.
I think that's probably talking about a war between Israel and Iran.
Iran's external enemy, Israel. Crude oil will stay $70 to $50 until the next crisis in the Middle East. Nearly everyone will be working for the government. What do these buzzwords sound like? Now, when we take them as a whole, sounds like war, doesn't it?
Yes.
The first buzzword was war brought the country out of the Depression. Turmoil in the Middle East in 2 years. Iran's external enemy, Israel. Every single one of these point to what this gentleman said, 2 years from now, something catastrophic will take place. Think back on some other buzzwords that we heard a number of years ago. Bush Sr., who at one time was our president, was also the ambassador to China. He was the head of the CIA at one time. And Bush Sr. used the words, bold new world order. Mm-hmm. 1,000 points of light.
That's right.
Now, those are buzzwords. That's what the elite use on a regular basis, and all of them have a meaning to them. So, let's go into some of these buzzwords, and I'd like to examine them in the course of this 3rd DVD, the buzzwords that this man used to me only a few days ago. Now, this doesn't relate to the conversation I had with him 2 years ago, but the conversation only a few days ago that brought about the production of these 3 brand new DVDs. And here's what he said. 2 years ago, I was told that the elite, that we will not have war with Iran. Now, that was 2 years ago.
Right.
And I said it on radio talk shows all over
that.
America, and even produced it in one of my DVDs, and I said the elite do not want war with Iran. But that was the exact opposite to what all the talk show hosts were saying. I mean, even I myself was saying, goodness gracious, we've got a whole armada of ships lined up over there in the Middle East.
That's right.
Right at the Persian Gulf, the Strait of Hormuz. And I said, everything is right ready for war. They were on immense alert, on national, everything was right, touch and go, ready to push the button. And everybody imaginable that I can think of, including myself, was saying, we must be on the verge of war with Iran. And this man comes along and says, no. We elite don't want war with Iran. And I came back on radio talk shows and started saying, there's not going to be any war with Iran because the elite just told me so. People thought I was crazy. And I said, a barrel of oil from $147 a barrel to $50 a barrel, people said, you are stupid.
I laughed at
you. You are out in left field.
I really thought you were wrong. That's right.
And many other people laughed at me. Talk show host, guest on the show, a man called in who was a Wall Street, I guess he played the futures. And he said it can't happen. He said it'll impact the world in such a great way that it just could not take place. Well, he was exactly right. It did impact the world that much, and it happened exactly like the elite told me it was going to. And we have not had war with Iran for the past 2 years. In fact, you hardly even hear it talked about anymore.
That's
we
true.
still have some ships over there, but nobody is saying anything about war with Iran anymore. Are you ready for what the real plans are? Well, they said no war with Iran. I was told that we have 2 years. And we will have war. Now,
with Iran.
Keep in mind, well, I'll get to that in just a moment.
All right. Okay.
Keep a step ahead of me today. You had a good night's rest last night. Keep in mind that I was told 2 years ago we do not want war with Iran right now. And then we come down to today, and this individual says there's going to be war, and Iran will be involved, and Israel will be involved, and it's going to sweep through the entire world. He did not use the word nuclear, but he did not say it wouldn't be. And he said there'll be war. Now, what throughout all the entire world, he said it's going to spread. Nothing happens by chance. It is all planned. They know in advance everything they're going to do. So now I'm coming back with these 3 DVDs and with radio talk shows, and I'm saying, okay, the elite are now ready. It's time for them to do what they did not want to do 2 years ago. And mark my words, I know I was chaplain with these people, to them. I understand their mindset. And they do things meticulously. They plan it out in advance. They know exactly what they're doing. And we are, within 2 years' time, he said more than likely, we will have war with Iran. Now, I went back with I didn't say war with Iran, but war in which Iran will be involved, and it'll spread through the entire world. They now are ready for this. They were not 2 years ago. So it's back on the board again. Now, I went back to what a very famous person said a number of years ago when he wrote a book. His name was Major General Smedley Butler, one of the greats of past years. In fact, it was back during the days of President Eisenhower, and Eisenhower and Smedley Butler were on the scene at the same time, and someone asked President Eisenhower about Smedley Butler, and he said Smedley Butler, a Major General, is one of the greatest men that I know on the face of the earth today. And Smedley Butler wrote a book, and in his book he said the following: war is a racket. It always has been. It is possibly the oldest, easily the most profitable, surely the most vicious. It is the only one in which the profits are reckoned in dollars and the losses in lives. Only a small inside group knows what it is about. It is conducted for the benefit of the very few, at the expense of very many. Out of war, a few people make huge fortunes.
Yes.
Smedley Butler. Now, this is what the elite know. And they're going to take advantage of this. And I was told that the elite, within possibly 2 years, will have war. It's planned. It's already in the works. It will begin somewhere in the Middle East. It probably will involve Iran. And it will spread through the entire world. And this statement also was made by this individual when he was talking about the elite. He said, nearly everyone is going to be working for the government. Now, if we had war right now, what would happen to every facet of society?
That's right.
We would gear up.
That's
All
right.
of our factories would turn from making automobiles to making war machines and tanks and airplanes and everything else,
Right.
because we'd have to defend ourselves. And he said